You must work if you want to stay here, Mama. Ada said sternly. I worked hard to get to where I am. And I won't let anyone stay here for free. You have to earn your food. Welcome to African Tales HQ. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by tall trees and singing birds, lived a young woman named Ada. Ada had a sweet and loving mother who worked very hard to care for her family. Ada's father had passed away when she was very young, so her mother raised her and her younger siblings all by herself. Every day, Ada's mother went to the farm to plant yams, cassava, and vegetables. She would wake up before the sun rose and return home only when the sky turned dark. She did all this so her children could have food to eat and a roof over their heads. She loved her children more than anything and would do anything to see them happy. As Ada grew older, she dreamed of leaving the village and moving to the big city. She believed that she could make a better life for herself and her family there. One day, she went to her mother and said, "Mama, I want to go to the city. I know I can make it there. And when I do, I will bring you to live with me. You will no longer have to work on the farm." Her mother was hesitant. She loved Ada deeply and didn't want her to leave, but she knew how much Ada wanted a better life. With a heavy heart, she gave Ada her blessing. "Go, my daughter. May the spirits guide you and protect you. And please remember us when you succeed." Ada hugged her mother tightly, promising to come back for her and her siblings. With a few coins, some food, and her mother's prayers, Ada set off to the big city. In the city, life was hard for Ada at first. She didn't know anyone and had to work long hours cleaning houses and washing clothes. But she didn't give up. She worked very hard, just as her mother had done in the village. Years passed and slowly, Ada began to succeed. She found a better job, made more money, and was able to rent a small house. Soon, Ada became wealthy. She could afford beautiful clothes, delicious food, and everything she had ever dreamed of. She was no longer the village girl struggling in the big city. She was now a respected woman in her neighborhood. Back in the village, her mother and siblings waited patiently, hoping that Ada would come back for them. Sometimes they heard stories from people who had visited the city and saw how well Ada was doing. They sent word to her, hoping she would remember her promise. But every time they reached out to her, Ada would send messages back saying she was still struggling and couldn't help them yet. Months turned into years, and Ada's mother grew old and weak from working on the farm alone. She still believed in her daughter and trusted that one day Ada would come back for her. She missed her daughter and prayed every night that Ada would remember her family. One day, Ada's mother decided that she could wait no longer. She gathered the little money she had saved, wrapped herself in her worn-out clothes, and set off to the city to find her daughter. When she arrived at Ada's house, she knocked on the door with a hopeful smile. Ada opened the door and was shocked to see her mother standing there, looking tired and worn out. "Mama, what are you doing here?" Ada asked, her face not as warm as her mother had hoped. "I came to see you, my daughter," her mother replied, her eyes shining with love. "I missed you and I wanted to know how you were doing." Ada invited her mother inside, but things were not as her mother had imagined. The house was grand and beautiful, filled with all the things her mother had never seen before. Ada's mother was in awe, thinking of all the hard work her daughter must have done to live in such a place. But Ada's heart had changed. She was no longer the sweet, caring daughter who had left the village. She had grown proud and selfish, forgetting all the sacrifices her mother had made for her. "You must work if you want to stay here, Mama," Ada said sternly. "I worked hard to get to where I am, and I won't let anyone anyone stay here for free. You have to earn your food. Her mother's heart broke, but she didn't complain. She had come all this way to see her daughter and was willing to do anything to be close to her. Every day, Ada made her mother scrub the floors, wash the dishes, and clean the windows. If she didn't walk fast enough, Ada would scold her. "Mama, you're too slow. Do you know how hard I had to work to get here? If you want to eat, you have to work harder," Ada would say. Her mother would look down, holding back her tears, and keep working. She didn't want to argue with her daughter or make her angry. She just wanted to be close to her. Days passed and Ada's mother grew weaker and weaker. The work was too much for her tired body. But Ada showed no mercy. She continued to treat her mother like a servant, forgetting all the love and care her mother had given her. One night, Ada's mother sat outside on the steps, staring at the stars with tears streaming down her face. She thought of her other children, whom she had left in the village. She missed them deeply and felt heartbroken that her eldest daughter, the one she had trusted most, had treated her so cruelly. The next morning, as the sun rose, Ada's mother gathered her belongings and quietly left the house. She couldn't bear to stay anymore. She had come to the city with so much love for her daughter, only to be treated with disrespect and coldness. When Ada woke up and saw that her mother had left, she felt a tiny pang of guilt in her heart, but she quickly brushed it away, telling herself that her mother was weak and didn't understand the struggles of city life. As the years went by, Ada continued to live in her fancy house, surrounded by wealth and comfort. But she often felt a strange emptiness inside her. She tried to fill it with expensive things, but nothing made her truly happy. One day, she received a letter from the village. It was from one of her siblings. The letter said that their mother had passed away, and they had buried her in a simple grave under the big tree near their home. Ada's heart sank and tears filled her eyes. She thought of all the times her mother had helped her, cared for her, and sacrificed for her, yet she had turned her back on her. Ada realized too late that she had lost something precious. She had betrayed the love and trust of the person who had loved her the most in the world. She wanted to go back to the village and say sorry, to ask for forgiveness, but her mother was gone. She could never undo the hurt she had caused. From that day on, Ada lived with a heavy heart, feeling the weight of her actions every single day. She learned that no amount of wealth could replace the love and care of a family, and no success was worth the pain of betrayal. The story of Ada and her mother was told in the village for many years as a warning to others. It taught everyone that love and family are more valuable than riches, and that no matter how far you go, you should never forget the people who helped you rise.
The end. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, kindly share your thoughts by commenting, support me with the super thanks, like and subscribe. See you in my next video.